welcome to Haggerty Dog Training. I am Babette Haggerty, and today is Thursday, February 4th, and I am here to do our weekly Q&A. So glad to have you. I have a few questions that came across our training center this week that I want to address. The highlight of today's conversation, however, will be how to find a good dog trainer and things to look out for. But before I get into that aspect, I want to go over a couple of questions that some people had. Somebody wrote in and they said, I feed my dog. My dog is 12 weeks old. He's a Doggo Argentino. Hello, Patrick. He's a Doggo Argentino, and he's 12 weeks. He's fine in the housebreaking during the day. He doesn't have any accidents. However, in the middle of the night, about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, he's yelling and crying, and then he pees in the crate if I don't get up fast enough. I feed him at 5 p.m. as my trainer recommended. That's our trainer, Maria, is working with this dog. And I pick up his water at about 7:30 at night. I take him out at about 10 o'clock for his last walk. A couple of things here. In theory, a 12-week-old puppy should be able to hold it till, 10, 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, if you said to me, well, he can't hold it for 8 hours during the day, you're right. You have to remember that when a puppy is sleeping, they're going to hold it for longer periods of time than they are during the day. At night, the house is quiet. There's no UPS man making a delivery. He's sleeping through the night. So in theory, he should be able to make it to 5, 6 o'clock at night if he's going to the bathroom at 10 o'clock at night. My recommendation would be to, instead of picking up the water at 7:30, pick up the water at 7. The other thing I want you to make sure you're doing is don't leave bedding down inside the crate. Now, you had said that he was crying before he pees, and then he pees in the crate and walks through it. And that he doesn't like it because he is barking, or you were concerned that he didn't mind going to the bathroom in his crate because he would walk through it. Walking through the pee is not going to bother him. Bella, come here. Stay right here next to me. I have Bella with me. She's helping me out today. If he's walking through the pee and standing there and still crying to be let out, then he doesn't like it. You don't have a dog with dirty dog syndrome. My recommendation would be to pick up the water at 7 o'clock. See if you can push getting him out again at about 10:30 at night, and make sure you're giving him a brisk 10-minute walk, that last walk at night, to really help him empty himself out. You may also want to consider, instead of leaving the water down for so long, maybe give him a little bit less access to water or give him less water, but make sure that you are putting water in his food and kind of making it soupy. This way, at 5 o'clock, he's getting a lot of water, he's being hydrated, and when he has his last bit of water at 7, at 7 o'clock or so, he's not going to ingest as much water, and see if that works. So what I want you to do is I want you to take the bed out if there's a bed in the crate. I want you to add food to his water, add water to his food, make it nice and soupy, and then pick up the water by 7 o'clock and see if you can go until about 10:30 to take him out for his last walk, and see if that makes a difference. If that doesn't make a difference, then give us a call and we'll rework that. But give that a try and let us know how it works out. Somebody else had written yesterday, I want to give my dog peanut butter in a Kong toy. Is the peanut butter good for him? My wife says it's not. The peanut butter is very good for him as long as it doesn't have xylitol in it, because that is a toxin for dogs. So you don't want this artificially sweetened peanut butter. But there's nothing wrong with giving him peanut butter. Hello, John. How are you? It's good to see you. So yeah, give him peanut butter. The other thing you can do is give it inside of a bone, like a bone marrow. An empty soup bone, so to speak. Bella, come here. Bella, come. Stick the peanut butter in that empty soup bone and give that to them as a treat. They love it. It takes them a while to lick all of that peanut butter out. It gets their jaws moving and it entertains them. And it's a very low-cost toy. It's a lot cheaper than buying big, expensive chew toys that they're going to eat and destroy in no time at all. All right. What other questions? I think that there was one other question that we had in here. Okay. So we had somebody today that they came in for their training lesson, and they noticed a couple of our day school dogs were coming in and they all sat automatically. And the gentleman said to me, he said, when can my dog sit? It doesn't look like you're giving them signals to sit. I said, yes, that's the automatic sit. We've started to teach your dog the automatic sit. What the automatic sit is, when you stop walking, your dog sits next to you. You don't say anything. The dog just knows you stop, I sit. And that's a skill you want every dog to learn. And I was telling him, I said, you have to apply it throughout your day. Before you open up that back door to let them out in the backyard, you make them sit. Open the door, then you give them permission to go out. When you're leaving to go out with your dog and take them for a walk, make them sit at the door. Open the door, heel them through the door, make them sit again, close the door behind you and lock it. And you want to do it every single time you stop at the car. Make your dog sit while they wait for you to open up the car door. That is super important. All right. And John, my German Shepherd in the middle of the night will go room to room checking on us. Is this normal? Is this the herding instinct, or is this a separation thing? He is a German Shepherd. He is supposed to protect his property. You are his people, and that house is his property. This could take up a whole half-hour session if we spoke about the different types of protection breeds out there, or dogs that are good for protection work. But one of the things about German Shepherds is that they're great for area protective. If you want like an estate to be guarded, you want a German Shepherd, because they're constantly going around the perimeter, constantly moving around. Dogs like Belgian Malinois, they're much more handler protective, so they stay closer to their people. It's not to say that they're not going to guard your house. They are. It's just that these are very tiny little differences between these dogs. So your German Shepherd in the middle of the night going room to her room, be glad that he's there. If someone's coming to break into your house, they're not going to get him with the German Shepherd, because they're going to hear that bark. Your German Shepherd is going to know it, and he's going to let you know there's somebody outside. Sometimes it might be a deer. Sometimes it might be a frog. Sometimes it might be some fox or coyotes, but they will always let you know when someone's out that door, outside the house by that door. So it is very normal for a German Shepherd to be doing that. Okay, so those are some of the bigger questions we had this week. Now, there are two. I want to talk about how to find a good dog trainer. And that is a common question that often comes up. And last night, there was a conversation on a dog trainers group. And unfortunately, there was some people had used somebody as a mentor to teach them how to train dogs for a living. This was not the average dog owner. And there were some people who knew this person and said, how did you not see it coming? But unfortunately, some people didn't see it coming, and they were not treated properly by this individual. So that's a different topic for a different day and a different audience. And that's something I do want to address, how to find a mentor when you are a fledgling dog trainer. But another similar topic came up a couple of weeks ago, or last week sometime. But apparently somebody let me know that somebody wrote on the Bergen County Moms group, how can I find a dog trainer that's not going to charge me $6,000? I'm thinking, there are plenty of dog trainers. There are good dog trainers that are not going to charge you $6,000. I mean, what are they doing for $6,000? And I had another lady who was in a week or so ago. She's starting her day school program. She had started with a trainer that was referred to her online, and they came out for 2 lessons. The first lesson was wonderful. The second lesson, not so wonderful. And she never saw the woman again, and she didn't get any of her money back. So this is my advice. If you need to get a dog trainer for your dog, and I do recommend that everybody get a dog trainer for their dog. When you bring that dog home, if you do nothing else, just enroll them in a basic group class. When you're looking for a dog trainer, you can go with a great trainer. You can go with a good dog trainer. You can go with someone who's just good enough and someone who's not so good. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences and how to decipher the differences. Now, if you have, let's say, a 5-year-old, I'm not even going to pick a breed because I don't want to discriminate on a breed, but a 5-year-old dog, you're the second home, he bit 3 people in his last home, and now he's bitten you at least once or twice. You want a damn good dog trainer. And you don't want just a damn good dog trainer. You want a dog trainer that works with dogs that have aggression problems. If you're really going to, straighten this dog out, or if you're going to commit to this dog, and that's a whole other topic for another day. So you want a really good dog trainer. if you just got a dog and it's an 8-week-old Bichon puppy, just go to the local obedience club, get them into puppy class, go to the big box store, go to the trainer down the road, and just get them started. Any kind of training is going to help your dog. One of my very best friends, I met her, she was fresh out of law school, and I've known her now for almost 30 years. And she had called me. She had no money. She was out of law school. She just had her first job. And she had this huge mixed breed Sabrina. Sabrina was this wonderful dog. I have a picture of Sabrina somewhere too. And of course, she had no money. She said, I really need help with my dog. Can you help me? And then I spoke to her. She said, I really can't afford it. I said, look, do yourself a favor. Go down the street, go to the big box store. It's going to get you started in the right direction. Does it cost a lot of money? No, it's cheap. Do you get what you pay for? Often, but it's going to get you started in the right direction. About a year later, she walked into my training school. This was in North Palm Beach, Florida. I met Sabrina. Sabrina jumped up on my desk, knocked everything off the desk. That's how she, said hello to me and how she greeted me. And my poor friend, she was this tiny little girl, and she's trying to get control over the dog. And she refreshed my memory on who she was because she was a friend of a friend or something. And she said, now I'm ready for serious training, but thank God you sent me to that big box store because it got me through the first year. It didn't give me everything I needed, but it got me through the first year. And we tell owners that all the time. Look, if you can't afford our service, go do something. Something is better than nothing, right? But you have to do something. Don't let the problem fester. We have people that call all the time, and they call, and then a year later, okay, we're ready for training. Well, what have you done for the last year? Nothing. Okay, so now your problem is even worse. Don't do that. Don't let the problem get worse. Do something. Something is better than nothing. So when you're looking for a dog trainer, ask around. You can go on your local moms group, your local town group. I tell everybody, get 3 names of trainers. Not the first one, not the second one. Don't hire the first one. Don't hire the second one. Don't hire the third one. Talk to all 3 of them. And you want to be careful of the questions that you ask. We often get people that their very first question is, take a guess. How much is it? How much does it cost to train my dog? Well, as Captain Haggerty would say, the oats are always cheaper after they come out of the horse. How much does it cost to train a dog? That's like me calling a car dealer and say, I need a car. How much is it? Well, ma'am, do you want the car with the heated seats and the heated steering wheel and the sunroof? Yeah, I do. Well, it's this price. Oh, well, I can only afford the one that doesn't have the heated seats and doesn't have the moonroof. Okay. They're not all equal. So an important question to ask every trainer that you speak with is, after X amount of dollars and after X amount of hours with my dog, what can I expect from my dog? What behaviors will my dog be able to do on cue? What behaviors will be extinguished? Will my problems be solved? Because, for example, you can hire a dog trainer, I'm just making up numbers, for $200 an hour. You can hire another dog trainer down the street for $100 an hour. But if it takes the $200 trainer to fix your problem in, let's say, 2 lessons, you spent $400. But the guy down the street who's half the price takes 6 lessons to solve your problem, you spent $600. So the half price guy isn't really that much cheaper. He actually cost you quite a bit more money. So you have to ask not just what the price is, but what am I getting for my money? Because this woman for $6,000, I have no idea who she was speaking to, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you a lot of training for $6,000. And I know a lot of people who will give a lot of training for $6,000. And I also know some people who, will say, oh, that's 50% of my price, send a deposit. I'm going to keep your dog for a couple of weeks and I'll send them back to you. Not all trainers are created equal. Not all prices are created equal. So it's super important. Find out what it is you are getting for your money before you commit to it. Talk to 3 people. And yes, it is easy. We're in a fast-paced world. We want the guy who's going to come out first and foremost, or the woman that's going to come out first and foremost, or who, boom, I booked it online at 3:00 in the morning because I was so fed up with my dog. But do your homework. Absolutely do your homework. I had a case a few years ago. A woman came to me with her young puppy. She wanted the dog to become a service dog for her son. And when I spoke with her, I said, what you're asking this dog to do for your 7-year-old son, you're really pushing the limit here. And, a lot of this stuff I think is unrealistic expectations. Not only that, she bought the dog from a place that, I wouldn't buy a dog from. And I certainly wouldn't buy a dog from this place for service dog work. You have to go to people that are actually training these dogs and breeding these dogs, rather breeding these dogs for service dog work. If you call me up and you say to me, I want a dog for, medical alert, I want a dog for scent work, I'm going to tell you, you want a lab and you want to go to Debbie Kay. That's what she does. Chilbrook Labs. There's your plug, Debbie. She's probably not even listening, but you have to go with people who are breeding for that purpose. So anyway, she brought the dog. The dog started within a half an hour. This dog's temperament was so horrible that it was a shame she paid any money for this dog, even as a pet. She was completely ripped off. And I called her right away and I said, look, I said, what you want from this dog, it's not going to happen. I can work with your dog and I can perform, 1, 2, and 3, and I can keep the dog for X amount of time. But what you're wanting, you are not going to get out of this dog. And if you do, you're looking at, more than $6,000, 6 years of training, if you're lucky. She got really mad at me, and she got mad at me because I wasn't telling her what she wanted to hear. So if you have a difficult dog and you get a trainer on the phone who's telling you what you want to hear, that's great. But also think about, are they telling me what I want to hear, or are they being honest with me? And this woman was very upset with me, and she picked up the dog. Her husband called me up and yelled at me, and I was her best friend that day. She doesn't know it. I don't know if she ever figured it out. She probably eventually did. But the point is, make sure you're talking to a trainer that is telling you the truth and not what you want to hear. And that's super important if you're having dog problems, an aggression problem. You have a dog that, is 2 years old and still, lifting his leg in the house, more serious problems. All right. Another thing is go with your gut. Always go with your gut. That's super important, especially when you're spending a lot of money. One thing I found as a trainer is that when people sign up for group classes, that's what it's worth to them. They don't put as much effort into it as they do with private lessons. Let's face it, it's human nature. The more money we spend, the more we put into it. But we also have to be careful. There's a fine line between spending too much and spending not enough. Let's see. Now, you also want to ask, is there a contract for me to sign? This one woman who had the girl out 2 times and she never saw the woman again. And, she didn't have a signed contract. A contract, and I've had people have said, oh, why do I have to sign a contract? Blah, blah, blah. I've got news for you. It's as much for your protection as it is for the trainer's protection, my protection. Because it says in there, if I don't fulfill my job, this is what you get. And it tells me, hey, if you don't pay your bill, this is what I have to do. So it's a mutual protection, and it's something I strongly recommend, that you make sure that they have a contract to sign. Ask them what professional organization they belong to. Is it APDT? Is it NADOI? Is it IACP? There are certain organizations out there that, and I'm not even going to call them out because things may have changed, but there's one dog training organization. You pay them $50 and boom, you're a dog trainer. You get your little card carrying member as a dog trainer. So what do they need for that membership? You want to find out, is this, provable experience that they have, or do they just hang up a sign and decide, hey, I'm going to be a dog trainer one day? I took my dog through dog training class. Boom, I can be a dog trainer. It doesn't really work that way, but there are people out there that do that. Think about, are you hiring them on their fancy site, their great media presence, because they trained famous people's dogs? Not for nothing. Dog trainers that have been around a long time, especially if they're in bigger cities, they've all had like a famous person's dog in there. I have had to sign more than my share of non-disclosure agreements saying, I can't say I trained so-and-so's dog. They don't like that. Celebrities don't want you using their name for profit or gain. I remember when I was in South Florida, there was a big name dog trainer, and they were a big name because they were advertising left and right. Like they came out of nowhere, and they were here today, and then they were gone in like 2 years. And I remember somebody came to my group class, and he wasn't really working with his dog. And he said, well, I was thinking about sending my dog to so-and-so dog trainer. And I thought, knock your socks off, dude. You still have to work with the dog. He said, well, they're really good. They train so-and-so's dog. And I'm thinking, so like, just because you train a famous person's dog doesn't make them a better dog trainer. I mean, yes, there's credibility to that, but don't be swayed or, just don't be swayed by something that may not be as impressive as it appears to be. Ask yourself, why are you hiring them? Is it fast? Is it simple? Is it easy to sign up with them? Or do you really want, like, a good dog trainer is going to take the time and work with you? Do you want a dog trainer that has a proven track record of success? Find out how long have they been in business and shop around. If they don't have a website, if they're 18 years old, they haven't been training dogs for decades. Find out what you need to and what you're willing to pay and what you're willing to compromise on. Again, don't shop by price. Ask what you're going to get for the amount of money that you've spent. And is this the best trainer for your dog? I've met people that, they'll have a 3-year-old, again, tougher dog that has an aggression problem, and they know somebody who's a retired canine officer. That's a great trainer for that person, and they've done very well with those people. Or they go to a Schutzhund Club trainer and they've done very well with that trainer. But are you going to send your 5-month-old Bichon to, the Schutzhund Club guy? Sure, the Schutzhund Club guy will do a good job, but, if all he's used to working with is, one kind of dog, make sure you're comfortable with him working with your little fluffy dog. That's super important. Just keep in mind, you want good, you want good enough, do you want great, and what do you actually need? Group classes. That's another thing you want to keep in mind is group classes. Someone's puppy class is not going to be the same as my puppy class. Someone down the road, their level 1 class is not going to be the same as my level 1 class, or anybody's for that matter. Again, get back to, at the end of the 6 weeks, what can my dog be expected to do or not do? So those are things that I just want you to keep in mind. Don't just go on the cheapest, the simplest to sign up, the most convenient. And I've got news for you. One thing to keep in mind, and I get it, your dog is driving you crazy. You've been inside the house for a year now with your dog, and you finally have had it. You're calling around, you're calling dog trainers. Every good dog trainer I know right now is booked. Like they can't get you in. We're booked until like the end of March. People are booked until April. I know somebody in Virginia that's booked until June. There's a reason why people are booked, because they're good dog trainers. So just keep that in mind. Is it something that you can wait on? Is it something you have to wait on? Just because somebody picked up the phone for you at 8:00 at night, how busy are they? That's not to say that they're not good. It's not to say that at all, but just keep in mind, you don't necessarily want to hire the first person that's going to get out there, because they may not be the right fit for you. Just trying to see what other, that was pretty much what I really wanted to talk about. The crux of the situation is, prices vary. Find out what you're going to get for your money. Do a little bit of investigative work on the trainer that you're hiring. You don't need to spend $6,000 to train your dog. I mean, you could probably send your dog to Florida, and I know great dog trainers that'll keep your dog for 3 weeks. They'll bring the dog back to you wherever you live, and you still won't spend $6,000. So I have no idea who this poor lady was speaking with, but you don't have to spend a ton of money. I had one lady who came in like a year ago, and actually we just finished her 2nd dog. She had come in like a year ago. She was having problems with her dog, and she called us back and she said, I'm not ready to get started with this dog. I have a new dog now. I solved all my dog's problems, the first dog you met, through your YouTube channel. So, do what you can. Sometimes people need that accountability. They need to have a trainer that says to them, you need to do your homework, and I'm going to see you next week, and I want to make sure you did your homework. So I pretty much have gone over all of my points. If I don't see any more questions coming up, you guys had some good questions this week. I will have more questions next week. And until next time, it's just about that hour. So it's 2:00. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, stay safe and enjoy your dog. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.